Good afternoon. I would like to welcome you to the Licensing Subcommittee hearing today. Can I start off with the protocol for remote hearings? Only speak when invited to by the chair. If you wish to speak, please raise your hand and direct all communication via the chair. Please ensure that your mics are muted when you are not speaking. When speaking, please be succinct and do not exceed the allocated timeframes. If referring to any written submission, please refer to the specific page number in the agenda pack. Any new evidence can only be submitted at the discretion of the chair and the agreement of all parties. If you are having technical difficulties, please use the chat function to alert the meeting or dial in using the details in the invitation. Please do not use the chat function for putting formal questions to the subcommittee. Any persistent disruptive behaviour will result in removal from the meeting. Once the application has been considered, any remaining parties will be asked to log out of the hearing. Please do so promptly so that councillors will have the opportunity to deliberate and make a decision. The licensing service will be able to inform each party of the skeleton decision within 5 working days. Can I start off with the first item on the agenda? Can we elect a chair, please?
I nominate Councillor Smith.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone, and welcome to today's licensing subcommittee meeting, Tuesday the 17th of June at 2 o'clock. Just for the record, it's always useful to have that at the beginning of the recording. There we go. You've got the agenda on the inside of that sleeve. If you're online, you'll have the agenda there as well. But before we go through that, we'll just go around and make quick introductions from members and officers and everybody else. So I'm Councillor Smith, Chair of Licensing and also Councillor in Stoke Newington Ward. Nice to see you all. Councillor Lufkin.
I'm Councillor Richard Lufkin, Vice Chair of the Licensing Committee and Councillor in the Shackerwell Ward.
Thank you very much. And Amanda.
Good afternoon. My name is Amanda North from Legal Services and I'm supporting members this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Rabia, we've heard from Rabia. Thank you. Rabia is our Governance Officer. Thank you very much. Suba.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Subhash Ramana, Principal Licensing Officer, and I will be presenting the report. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Anwar is our IT person, so thank you very much, Anwar. And then we've got, I've got Agnes on the screen, but there I can see 2 people, so.
Yeah. Hi everyone. I'm Agnes. I'm the co-owner of Yukiba.
And your friend?
Hello, I'm Yuki. So I'm also the owner of the Yukiba.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much for that. And finally, we have Mr. Spiegler.
Good afternoon, Chair. Yes, Jack Spiegler, solicitor for the applicant.
Excellent, fantastic. So there were 2 agenda items on here today, and one of them's been resolved already. So we only have one today, main substantive item. So let's just move on with the agenda then, if we're all content. So agenda item 1, election of chair, which we've done. Agenda item 2, apologies for absence. There are no apologies for absence today. Agenda item 3, declarations of interest. Do members have any declarations of interest to declare? No, thank you, Councillor Lufkin, nor do I. And then agenda item 4 is the minutes of the previous meeting. Just need to approve minutes held on the 12th of February 25, the 1st of July 24, and the 28th of November 23. I'm happy to approve those minutes. Councillor Lufkin.
I don't think I was present for them, so yeah, happy for you to do that.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you very much. Agenda item 5, the hearing procedure. Just run through it very quickly for Agnes and Yuki. I'm sure, Mr. Spiegler, you're very familiar with this. So Agnes and Yuki, this is how it works. So we work in steps. So step 1 is the appointment of chair, which we've done. Step 2, the licensing officer will outline the report and over 5 minutes. Step 3, the applicant will present their case. In this case, it'll be Mr. Spiegler for you, unless he wants to bring you guys in. And then step 4, we would normally go to responsible authorities, but there are none today. Licensing withdrew following the provision of an updated plan, so they're not there. And then we have other persons. Again, that would be 5 minutes. So that would be, they aren't here either, but they have submitted stuff in the pack. So we've read their submission. Just nod, Councillor Lufkin, if that's the case. And there was another one, an additional piece of information that came through as well, which was just another letter, which I've read as well. And Councillor Lufkin, I presume you've read that, have you? Excellent. Thank you very much. That's it on my phone just there. So I have read that. Okay, so I think we are all good to go. If I could invite the Principal Licensing Officer, please, to outline the report. Thank you, Suba.
Thank you, Chair. So the item we are going to consider is for the variation of the premises license received under the Section 34 of the Licensing Act 2003 for the premises Yuki, Arch 426 Reading Lane. The application seeking variation to amend conditions 18 and 19 of the license to allow a maximum of 12 seated customers in the designated seating area outside of the premises, up to 2100 hours on Monday to Saturday, and up to 20 hours on Sunday, and Sunday before bank holidays Mondays, and also to add conditions which states customer shall not be permitted to smoke outside the premises on the northern side of the premises entrance door, as stated within the report. Representation remains from one other persons. We have received additional submissions from the applicant's agent and from the other person, and all those documents has been circulated. I'll have nothing else to add. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Suba, for that. So now, Jack, it's over to you, the applicant's case. 5 minutes. Just a couple of things, maybe just to cut the discussion down a little bit, maybe. There was mention on page 49 of the pack about a draft condition that smokers would not be permitted to take drinks outside with them while smoking. Just consider that as to whether you'd be happy to have that also as part of the conditions. That's page 49. I think it was mentioned by Yuki, I believe. We just need to draft the wording for that. There were other conditions, page 20, 59, page 59, sorry, condition 20, any music played at premises after 2300 hours. We would like to put in at all times, so amend that condition to at all times. So that's condition 20 on page 59. Hope you've got a pen there, Jack. You're writing all this down. Yeah, you're on top. Cool. And then there was another one that was suggested in the letter, I think it was. A member of staff shall regularly monitor the external area to ensure customers are not causing a public nuisance. That's a generalized one for the general area. The one that you've accepted is the one about smokers. Customers should not be permitted to smoke outside the premises. On the northern side of the premises entrance door. So you've accepted that one, but there's another one that was offered up as well, Jack, in that letter, which is more general about monitoring the external areas. That's 3. And then, yeah, also the music one. I think we've done that, haven't we? Yeah, so at all times, background levels only, because that was also mentioned in the letter as well, so it would be background at all times. But we just need to reflect that in condition 20. So that's where that amendment comes from. Sorry, Jack, to throw you off there, but I just thought I'd throw them in whilst you're about to do your submission.
Yeah, no, thank you, Chad. Why don't I address you on those straight away?
Yeah, I will start the clock then, Jack, until you're doing your.
Okay, all right, yeah, okay, thank you. So to set the scene, I'll address you on those straight away. So, in respect of the first one, to restrict smokers from taking drinks outside, that's effectively restricted by the way we've amended the conditions anyway, because we're saying that the only people that can go outside and with a drink are those that are seated at the tables. So that wouldn't catch smokers temporarily. In respect of the second one you mentioned, which I think was music at background levels at all times, which is condition 20 on page 59.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, the music levels are at background levels anyway. My only slight lawyery concern about that one, Chair, is that that would interfere with the applicant's rights under the Live Music Act. There'd be an argument that any condition which effectively restricted unregulated recorded music pre 11 p.m. wouldn't be enforceable anyway because of the Live Music Act.
Yep, that makes sense.
Yeah, so I suppose for the record, and it can be minuted,
I mean, I think
at background levels anyway, but I'd be just concerned about a condition restricting it pre 11 p.m. under the Live Music Act.
Yeah, I think that there's obviously a discussion to be had about, is there any music being played outdoors at all? Is it all indoors?
Yes, it is.
So it's all indoors.
Yeah.
I suppose what I was trying to do was reflect what was offered in the letter, really.
Yeah.
Because the letter says, background music at all times. Okay, we know that regulated entertainment sort of is regulated entertainment up to 11, which you're allowed to do.
Yeah.
But the Act doesn't talk about volumes.
Yeah.
I mean, regulated entertainment volumes up to 11, if that makes sense. So I was just trying to kind of get that in there, because if you said it, it's just good to kind of just enforce it, really. Yeah.
So I think I'm happy for this to be minuted. Again, just me, and I'm looking at Ms. Mouth as well, whether that would be an enforceable condition if you were to impose it. You would, of course, be able to make it an enforceable condition if there were subsequent complaints and enough to bring it to review and then disapply the Live Music Act. And I hope you take some comfort in that. But we're not going anywhere near that level. And I've just got a few things to say about what the objector's saying about noise levels anyway when I get to my
great.
So perhaps consider that. And then finally, absolutely, Yuki, in one of his letters to the objector, offered a condition which said that a member of staff shall regularly monitor the external air to ensure that others are not causing a public nuisance to local residents. And that is agreed, and it was offered to the resident, and it's offered to you now.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much, Jack, for that. That sort of clears things up a bit in terms of those conditions. So I'll start the clock now on your normal submission.
Great. Thank you. I'll aim for about 4 minutes, Chair, hopefully. The premises is a small 26 capacity restaurant with a carefully curated natural wine list. And as you can see on the updated map in Appendix D, it is located in a railway arch with an active railway line located immediately above and adjacent to the premises. And I mentioned that, and with reference to my earlier comments, Chair, mention it from the outset, as the sole resident objector, with respect, repeatedly refers to Reading Lane as being a quiet street, but nowhere is it mentioned that the high levels of existing noise from the trains, which we think is a relevant consideration, particularly bearing in mind that in the supplementary papers, you can see that the planning authority imposed noise conditions on the local residents' new apartment block planning consent, requiring soundproofing to be undertaken to the apartments to protect local residents from the high levels of existing noise. Now, a number of those local residents who live in that same apartment block objected to the grant of the original premises license, which was determined on Valentine's Day in 2023. And as a result of those objections, the licensing subcommittee restricted any external drinking under the terms of the existing license. Since then, Yuki and Agnes have opened and integrated themselves into the local community. They've built friendly, neighbourly relationships and have become a licence holder that local residents can trust. And as part of Yuki's commitment to regular dialogue with local residents, he has contacted the neighbours. He contacted them last summer to propose a trial period using the external area under 10s. That was kindly accepted by local residents, subject to certain conditions, which Yuki agreed. And I'm pleased to report that the trial was a success. And then jumping forward to spring this year, Yuki contacted the residents again to invite feedback on a variation application, i.e. this application, to permanently regularise the position authorised under last year's 10s, subject to the 9 p.m. curfew, you'll know being 1 hour less than your preferred time in your policy for external areas, a 12-person limit and controls on smoking. I understand the residents were comfortable with this proposal, and you'll note that all but one have not objected, and 12 local residents have since confirmed in writing that they are in fact supportive. Chair, they're not submitted as representations, I acknowledge that, but I've supplied all that correspondence to the licensing authority to verify. That bundle contains a lot of personal data, people's addresses, names, email addresses, etc. So I'm not sure if you've seen it, but your officers have it if you need to check. There are 12 there that are supportive. You'll also see that Yuki has engaged with the sole objector. We have sought to clarify and address the points raised in the representation. in particular the 9 p.m. curfew, the 12-person limit, the smoking controls, as well as that additional condition we offered to you a few moments ago. So the majority of local residents have agreed all of this, and we think that the right balance has been struck to ensure the licensing objectives are promoted and concerns are addressed, and the proof is in the pudding with that successful trial period agreed with the residents. If we've got all this wrong, Chair, and if for whatever reason music might be a bit too loud or smokers might be straying into an area they shouldn't, Yuki has already demonstrated himself to be a neighbourly applicant who will engage and listen to local feedback and adjust policies and procedures accordingly if necessary, and all of that's safeguarded under the existing licence conditions, which are not changing. So as a result, we ask you to please grant the application, which will give, if I may say, this charming fledgling local independent business the best possible chance of flourishing, albeit under the tight controls safeguarded by the conditions proposed. Chair, you mentioned it before, there have been some late emails from the objector. I've not addressed you on those in detail, but if there are any specific points arising from those, happy to do so. And of course, Agnes and Yuki are here at your disposal for any other questions. But other than that, thank you very much for listening.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jack. Just on the conditions again, I think 20, 21, 22 are duplicates of 28, 29, 30.
Yeah.
Just strike.
Yeah, happy to. That's
either
just
three of those off, basically,
Yeah.
just have
Yeah.
3 instead of 6.
Yeah, good spot.
Right, where are we? Okay, yeah, so I think we are about to go into Jack, would you like Agnes or Yuki to come in? Are you happy?
Over to, I'll put them on the spot now if there's anything they'd like to say, and perhaps just to reconfirm their commitment, because I think reading those later emails from the local resident perhaps paints a slightly different picture, but I think Agnes and Yuki would like to really reassure you that they do arrange the meetings, they do engage with local residents, and they have built some really good friendly relationships.
I mean, we can sort of move into the kind of discussion phase now. We'll just take Amanda. Amanda, you've got your hand up.
Yes, so I was actually just going to ask for clarification, if you wanted clarification on the meetings with the local residents and how the premises is operated. What are they operating as, in case you hadn't touched on?
Yeah, we'll drill down into all of that in the discussion phase. So Agnes and Yuki, we'll probably be asking questions which you can come in on, and I'll give you an opportunity to sort of come back. So let's start off with Councillor Lufkin, because I know that Councillor Lufkin's got a few questions he'd like to ask. Thank you, Councillor Lufkin.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I mean, since we've raised it right now, and Amanda's just raised it, I'm just looking at the email from the residents, the local resident who's talking about the meetings and everything, and saying that they're supposed to happen every 3 months, but I've never been invited or seen any notice. That's his view. It's such a tight little site. Do you know what I mean? We do really want to be reassured that that is happening. Yeah. Could you just I mean, is the resident just incorrect in what they're saying, and are you doing that and stuff? Could you just address that?
Yeah, I'll hand you over to Agnes on that point, Councillor, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure. Yes, so we have been holding the meetings every 3 months as agreed at the last hearing. And the way that we've been notifying residents of them is by contacting a woman who lives in the block who was at the last hearing, and she sends it out on the community group chat, which we believe the objector is absolutely a member of. It's been confirmed, but I guess this is the first time we've heard that he hasn't seen those notifications, and we're more than happy to post a letter or take his email contact if it's a better course of being able to contact.
And Councillor, just to back up that as well, I've got records of some of the meetings which Yuki and Agnes kindly sent through. So the first meeting took place in December 2023, and 10 people attended that. So obviously residents are getting these invites and they are attending. The last couple were only attended by 2, which I hope demonstrates that things are going pretty well, but also demonstrates that invites are going out and being received.
Thanks very much. Yep, that's very reassuring. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you. And just one more point just on this. Do you have a number that you advertise in the shop that people could just, call you up on if there was a problem?
Actually, Yuki passed on his personal mobile number through the community group chat,
Okay.
and asked people if there's anything, please contact us. Like if there's too much noise or they see something that they're not comfortable with. So yes.
It's always useful to have a number sort of available within the premises, either on the window or at the bar or somewhere, just in case people want to just get hold of you, basically. So that's always
Yuki's
useful.
there every day, so his mobile's probably the best.
Yeah, excellent. And just on the operation of this establishment, you have got quite a strict restaurant condition on there, which basically means that, alcohol ancillary to a substantial table meal. It might not say substantial on there, but I need to read it. But anyway, you get the idea. And then on that little social media picture grab or whatever in the documents, it says wine bar. So we're just wondering really what you are, exactly what you are. We want to know, because we think you're a restaurant, but you might think you're a wine bar. So we just want to work out what it is you are.
Yeah, best you hear from Yuki and Agnes on that point, Chair. So over to them.
Very much a restaurant. Maybe the name is a little misleading, Yuki Bar, but it's actually in reference to the fact that the seating is around a central bar. There's the food is available from opening. We've updated the social media. Wine is a focus, but food is a central part of the offering as well. So,
and I've included just a couple of snippets of some press, Chair, which very much categorises it as a restaurant and talks about the food on offer, which I hope helps too.
Yeah, so that's condition 31. I'm just going to read it out just to make sure we're all clear on this, because you have to remember, you're obviously aware of this. This is being recorded. It's for the public record. So what you say on here is what you should really mean. So it says alcohol to not be sold, supplied, or consumed on the premises otherwise than to persons who are taking substantial table meals, and that the consumption of alcohol by such persons is ancillary to taking such meals. The supply of alcohol or consumption on the premises shall be by waiter or waitress service only. The reason why I'm reading that out is so that we know that you've heard explicitly what that condition is, so that you understand that you've got that condition on your license, and that's what you need to be doing when you are involving alcohol. So that's the reason for reading that out. Do you accept that condition?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very aware of that. And it's a restaurant. Commercially, it needs to operate as a restaurant as well.
Yeah,
so.
that's very, very important. Because obviously if there was a breach there, then local authority gets involved and it's all,
Yeah, no, absolutely. And Chair, you won't be surprised to hear we've been through that as well, bearing in mind what the objector has alleged. There is, and we accept, an unhelpful social media post, which was a single post that went up around the launch time, which isn't very helpful, but that it really is just an old post which has been removed now, but the premises has been operating and will operate as a restaurant.
Yeah, and then just on capacity, we believe the capacity is 25 that you mentioned, but we weren't sure whether that was the total capacity of inside and outside.
20, so 26, about 26 inside, maybe if can squeeze in a couple of extras,
and then 12 outside, so that would
then 12
make
outside.
38
Correct.
or something, wouldn't it?
Correct. Yeah.
And then I suppose the other point, Councillor Lufkin, you might want to come in on the sort of tightness of the forecourt and the fact that it's next to an entrance way to the block and stuff like that. Do you have any?
Thanks, Chair. We just had a quick look on Google Maps beforehand. Suba just brought up. I don't know if Suba can you bring up the photo? Bring up the thing on Google Maps. We just really wanted to understand thanks very much for that. Exactly where can everybody see the picture?
Yeah, that's helpful.
Exactly where are you talking about in terms of...
So on the right hand side of your screen, you'll see a glazed arch. That is Yuki. That's the premises. This picture was obviously taken
Oh, yeah,
before
got you.
before
Yeah,
opening.
Yeah.
And so the seating, if we look at compare that to the plan, I'm not necessarily say this goes up on screen now, but at page 47, you will see that the seating runs immediately alongside that shot. Oh, thank you. That shot frontage there, and then immediately above that is our railway line. Yeah.
Okay, and just on that, so you're not blocking the entrance or anything like that, are you? You're to the right of the You're to the right, that kind of pillar where Super's just put the.
Correct. Where's north on that, Jack? Where's north?
So if we go to Appendix D,
I can see it on the map, but in the photograph.
So straight ahead of you, I think I'm right in saying. So if it's orientated.
Okay, so over towards the van there.
Yeah. So the no. So the railway line is just about pointing northwards.
Okay.
So if you, it might help to look at Appendix D just to orientate that.
Yeah, I was trying to work out where.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Oh yeah, got you. Yeah.
North of the entrance door.
Yeah.
So is north of the entrance door to the left of it or to the right of it?
So if we look at sorry, Sue, you're doing a great
if
job
you're
here.
If you're looking at it straight on.
Yeah, so page 47, the north is the area to the left of the entrance door if you are looking at it, or from the right if you're coming straight out. But if you look at if you look at page 47, it's the one table with 3 chairs on its own.
Yeah, no, I can see that.
To the top of the plan. So that's the northern
standing
section.
in front of the building, about to go in, it would be to your left.
Correct.
Yeah, brilliant. And I presume, because obviously we can't really see around the corner with that picture, I presume there are balconies somewhere around that corner, are there?
Yeah, they're on the further towards that way, and Yuki and Agnes will correct me if I'm wrong, but they are further towards that way. But then again, and forgive me for keep mentioning it, Chair, but there's a railway line running right alongside that balcony as well.
It's really more about the smoking, Jack, than it is about
and that's why the smokers are deliberately not positioned there. And that was something that Yuki and Agnes agreed with the local residents when they were engaged with them last year and earlier this year to make sure that there's no smoking there.
I'm just I think Google Maps, you can't actually get beyond that archway. Stop says you can't see what's around the corner. Okay, great. Well, Councillor Lufkin, do you have any further questions? I think we've pretty much gone through.
No, you've really, when we were discussing it slightly ahead, you've really reassured me on the points that have been raised. Thanks very much.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're kind of content with the discussion phase, to be honest with you, Jack. I mean, we've covered everything. You've covered all the conditions that we mentioned and everything, so that's all clear. So any closing remarks at all that you would like to make, Jack, at all?
I won't take up any more of your time, Chair. Thank you for listening. Agnes and Yuki, anything else you'd like to add for the councillors?
No, I think we're good. Just maybe reiterating that we're committed to working with the residents to make it work.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's quite key.
Yeah.
That point. Richard?
Yes, just to say, I was just going to say what Councillor Smith, you've got such a tight site that really reassured to hear that you're working with the residents. Obviously, that's going to be pretty important. Do you know what I mean? You know, but yeah, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Yep, Amanda?
Yes, Chair, just a couple of quick final questions. Is the 12 residents that they've been engaging with, how did they come as a result of the meetings, or did they contact the did they make all the building aware of these of the application when it was being submitted? And also, do you think that it's necessary to have a condition for them to put up notification, contact number, etc., for people to contact them if needed? Because I think I don't know if they have a number on their website or anything, or if they have any other way, like an email address or something, to put on display, so that if anyone has concerns that they can contact. I think just the premises license holder's personal mobile number may not be sufficient. It might need something more. I don't know what your view is on that. I'll leave that with you. Thank you.
Yeah, Jack, do you want to come back on that?
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Chair. So, firstly, in respect of the communications with local residents. There's a really, it's a public hearing, so I won't name names, but there's a really helpful local resident who lives in the apartment block who coordinates the WhatsApp group for the apartments, and that lady is Agnes's and Yuki's first port of call. And we understand that if not all, the majority of local residents are on there. We think that the objector is on there as well and contributes to that WhatsApp group, so they will have all received those communications. There was a letter distributed via that channel as well at the time of submission and before submission, and of course the blue notice goes on display. Following the consultation period, some of the very friendly local residents, I think, were in touch with Yuki, and they were interested to know that one person had objected. They then proactively offered to support, which is why that second bundle of documents has gone in, where you'll see support. And there's one resident, different local resident, this time a gentleman, who was proactively canvassing the views of the local residents, and that's why you've got 12 of those local residents writing back to him and then forwarding it to Yuki, confirming their support, and your licensing authority officers have that bundle. In respect of the telephone number, this isn't a big company, it's not a big corporation with lots of restaurants, it's just Yuki who's there every day, and the residents have his personal number. He's the license holder in DPS. I don't think you get any better than that. I'm not necessarily sure whether Yuki wants his personal phone number stuck up in on a public window, but the residents have that number, and he is definitely contactable.
Yeah, I think it just sort of provides everyone with a bit of reassurance, Jack, when they can see a number.
Yeah,
advertised. I think it just automatically people think this is a good operator. They're not shy of being wanted. People wanting to communicate with them.
Yeah,
they're being open and transparent. I think it's just sort of it's a good PR look for the business, really. I think.
Yeah. Okay. It's just, yeah. I mean, I'm not going to resist that, and I don't know whether Yuki wants to say anything on that. Whether it's adjusting the wording of existing license condition 33 to say that the premises license holder number shall be available, should be made available to local residents when those meetings are being organised.
Yeah,
I'm just not sure whether everyone would want their own
Chair,
personal.
it could be an email address. It doesn't have to be a telephone number.
Yeah, well, email address would be better. Yeah, that's better. It's
Email.
just thank you. But the residents have Yuki's number anyway.
And they have the email address as well. That was in the letter, letters that were posted into everyone's mail.
Yeah. I mean, whatever you can do. I mean, obviously having an email address and a phone number on there is great. I mean, it gives the public a bit more reassurance, really. That's all, And ultimately, if you've got nothing to hide, then you shouldn't be worried about it, I don't think.
Yeah. I don't think we're going to resist that any further, Chair.
Councillor Lufkin?
Yeah, look, somebody who doesn't particularly want his personal mobile phone number to be given out, I totally take the point about the phone number, because you can it's just out there. But I'd be reassured with an email address, if that's okay. Yeah. Is that okay? Yeah. Thanks very much.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay. Yuki and Agnes, do you want to say anything?
No, all good here.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. And then just any point of final clarification, Councillor Lufkin, that you'd like to make? I don't have any.
No, that's great chairing. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you very much. Temporary event notices, agenda item 8, there are none today, so that's good. And so there being no further business to attend to today, I draw this meeting to a close. Thank you everyone for attending, and good luck with it. We might come down and see you, because it's not far from the town hall.
Pretty close. It's pretty close.
Yeah, all the best. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, thanks very much.
Thanks very much.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.